Hi, and welcome to the 3 Acre Farm. Today we're going to show you everything you need to get started from seeds. And we live in Michigan. And Michigan, it's early April here. Yesterday we had 3 inches of snow, so you just never know what you're going to get. Our last frost date in Michigan is about May 15, end of May. And so with most of the warm weather crops like tomatoes and peppers, we need to start them in a warm place about 6 to 8 weeks before that last frost date. So late March, early April, I'm starting my seeds in my basement, in my germination station here. And I'm going to show you all the supplies that you need to get started with this. Now some of you, starting seeds on your own is not a wise choice. If you're only growing 3 or 4 plants in your garden, it's probably best to just go to a garden center. But I'm usually starting and growing 60 tomato plants, 40 pepper plants, and if I were to buy those at a garden center, I would go broke. So it's much cheaper for me to buy seeds and buy some supplies and grow them on my own. So when you're starting your plants from seed, the first thing you need obviously is seeds. There's lots of different places you can go. You can order online, you can exchange seeds with friends, which is really fun, or you can go to your local garden center. And I mean, totally up to you what kind of seeds you want to start. I have a little problem with seeds and tend to buy way too much. You got to start with seeds, that's your first thing. You also need something to grow the plants in. Sometimes I just use these leftover seed pack cells from a garden center. Friends gather them and give them to me, and I reuse them over and over again. You can use pots like this, or sometimes people prefer to use these, which are made of compost and cardboard paper, and they can go directly into the garden when you're ready to transplant them into your garden. You also need something to grow the seeds, the plants in, and we call this a growing medium or a starting soil mix. I have had great luck with this kind called Pro Mix. It's a dry soil. I put it in a lidded garbage can like this, mix it with some water until it feels kind of like a moist wrung out sponge, and then I'll fill up my pots using this soil right in there. That keeps some of the mess. You can buy this at a local gardening center. I like to get my supplies from a store in West Michigan called GrowCo. They have everything you need for growing and starting plants. They also have an online store if you want to check that out. But that's my favorite. I also like to have these trays. And these trays are what I would put all of my growing cells in. And you can see the trays here on my bench. I've got them filled with plants already. I can fit lots of plants in those trays. The trays are waterproof, so if you need to water from the bottom, you can pour water in there, and that works out great. Another handy thing to have is a lid. There are different types of lids. There's the small lids like this that you can use at the beginning, and then there are the larger dome type lids that create a greenhouse effect, and they have holes in the top so you can keep air in or air out for ventilation. And this is really handy. It helps to keep your plants warm, which is what you really want when you're starting seeds, is nice warm soil. Speaking of warm soil, as you can see here, I have something that's called a seedling heat mat. And this goes underneath my trays, and this will keep the trays nice and warm because peppers and tomatoes need to have the soil warm to germinate properly. If you have the money to invest in one of these, it is well worth it. You don't have to use it the entire time they're down here, but if you use it for the first couple weeks, it really helps to get your seeds up nice and strong. You're also going to need some sort of grow lamp or grow light. I've got a couple different kinds here, and this is what will help your plant to grow. I keep my lights on for 16 hours a day. We have them on a timer so they go on and off on their own. When you have these grow lights, you want to place them about 2 or 3 inches above your seedlings so that they're not reaching up and getting leggy. So you want it down there, similar to this, just hovering right over your plants. They're getting heat from the heat mat, they're getting heat from the light. It's nice, it's warm, and they will grow very well that way. Now another thing that you need when you're growing plants is a water bottle. When you plant your seeds, you're going to want to use a water bottle to mist your plants daily. And watering is very important, and the type of water that you use is important as well. If you have well water or softened water, you may not use water that has been softened. It has salt in it. It will damage your plants. So maybe you need to go outside and get water that has not been through a water softener. If you have city water with chlorine, you might want to let your water sit out in a jug for 24 hours or so the chlorine will dissipate and it won't damage your plants. So these are the basic supplies that you need to get started with starting your seeds on your own. In my next video, I'm going to show you how I actually start the seeds in the cells and how I take care of them until they're ready to be transplanted in the garden. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.